If you've been told you have shoulder impingement and that your rotator cuff or bursa is being pinched, I have some shocking news for you. The problem isn't your shoulder. In fact, focusing on your shoulder is exactly why your impingement keeps getting worse. I'm talking about the biggest lie in shoulder impingement treatment, that the problem is happening at the shoulder. This myth is keeping millions of people stuck in pain when they could be living pain-free lives. I'm Dr. Joey Seaforth, physical therapist, online shoulder rehab specialist with Comeback Performance. Today, I'm going to expose the shocking truth about shoulder impingement that the medical system doesn't want you to know. We're going to discuss what shoulder impingement really is, the true causes, the 5 areas that impact shoulder function, and 5 exercises to start improving mobility today and significantly reducing your shoulder pain. Your shoulder isn't the problem. In fact, shoulder impingement is a movement problem, not a structural one. And here's what nobody tells you. Healthcare focuses on the shoulder because that's the spot that hurts. They stretch and strengthen the shoulder alone, and that's just putting a band-aid on the problem. But here's the shocking part. The actual problem isn't happening at your shoulder. It's happening upstream in areas that aren't doing their job properly, forcing your shoulder to compensate. Think about it. Your shoulder blade, your upper back, your neck, when those areas aren't moving well or doing their job efficiently, your shoulder joint becomes a traffic jam, and that traffic jam is what we call impingement. Healthcare jumps to the spot that hurts, your shoulder, and starts stretching and strengthening it, but they're leaving out 4 other areas that impact the why behind the pain in the first place. So what is shoulder impingement really? Let me explain what actually happens. Shoulder impingement happens when your bursa or rotator cuff tendons get pinched. It's like a traffic jam at the front of the shoulder. The problem isn't that your shoulder is broken or structurally damaged. The problem is that your shoulder blade and shoulder connection is off. This leads to a traffic jam at the front of the shoulder where everything gets pinched. But here's what they don't tell you. Impingement develops over time with faulty movement patterns. It's not training other areas to move well along with the shoulder. That is why focusing on the shoulder completely misses the point. In other words, impingement isn't something that just happens to you. It's the result of movement patterns, areas not moving well and doing their job. Let me show you why with the skeleton model. So we have our shoulder blade right here, and we have our shoulder. If our shoulder blade's not upwardly rotating enough, this is what happens. As we rotate, that ball is getting compressed between the shoulder and shoulder blade right there. That's where we're getting that impingement. The impingement can be on different tissues. It could be on bursa. If we look at this side, if we actually get the shoulder blade to upwardly rotate the entire way to that 60 degrees right there, we can lift our arm all the way up. We no longer have that impingement. We can also reach across our body and reach back, and that's going to significantly offload the shoulder and make it feel a lot better. Now that you see the importance of the shoulder blade, this is where my Big 5 system comes in. Your shoulder depends on 5 key areas to function properly. When any of these areas aren't working well, your shoulder has to make up the motion. This leads to repetitive stress, traffic jams, and eventually impingement. When healthcare jumps to the spot that hurts, your shoulder, without looking at the why your shoulder is being overworked in the first place, it's like treating a worn roundabout exit without fixing the traffic flow problem that caused it. Let me show you the 5 key areas that affect shoulder function and how dysfunction in these areas leads to shoulder impingement. There are 5 areas that we have to specifically target to not only get rid of the shoulder pain now, but prevent it from coming back in the future. The 2 areas are going to be the neck and also the thoracic spine. If you cannot comfortably extend and rotate in these segments here, the next place that you have to find the motion is going to be the shoulder. Third area to address is going to be the shoulder blade itself. Not the down and back cue that's always given in traditional physical therapy, but teaching the shoulder blade to move up and around right here to that 60 degrees. If that's not achieved, we get pinching and irritation in this area. That impingement can be on bursa, which are fluid-filled sacs, or also the rotator cuff as it comes in to attach at that spot. 4th area that has to be addressed is going to be the shoulder itself. Shoulder is a ball and socket joint, meaning it needs to drop, roll, glide, and rotate a full 180 degrees. A problem in traditional medicine is we're given a bunch of strengthening exercises to a shoulder that can't get in half the positions. And then the 5th crucial area to address is going to be any nerve tension or referral that's coming from higher up that's translating into the shoulder. People with this presentation will do all the stretches in the book, go to bed, and when they wake up, all that tightness returns. It's because the area above the shoulder is not being addressed. Now, I'm going to show you 5 specific exercises that address shoulder impingement by targeting the root causes in the Big 5 system. These exercises don't just treat the symptoms, they address why your shoulder becomes impinged in the first place. To start, we have banded posterior mobs. This targets Big 5 area number 4, your shoulder joint positioning. This exercise is all about creating space in your shoulder joint. When the front of the shoulder feels tight, it's often because the joint is shifted forward. Attach a resistance band to something sturdy at shoulder height for this exercise. Then place the band around the front of your shoulder and step away until there's tension on the band. This will free up the joint and reduce strain on the front of the shoulder. Complete 2 sets of 10 of this exercise. I know you're struggling with shoulder pain and you obviously want to fix it, so text me the word pain to 720-710-4371 and I'll send you my free shoulder pain fix demo. Now back to the show. Now that we have a little bit more breathing room, we're going to switch to exercise 2, which is a windmill lift off. This targets big 5 area 2, 3, and 4, the thoracic spine, shoulder, and shoulder blade mechanics. If your upper back and shoulder blade can't work together, your shoulder has to work harder during every movement. Head over to the wall and get into a half kneeling position with the hip connected to the wall. Next, you're going to slide your arm up the wall into a rainbow motion and add a lift off at the end range position. This can be limiting for people with stiff shoulders, so work through whatever parts of the motion that you are able to do and not force it. Do this on both sides to see if there are differences that might be contributing to your shoulder troubles. Complete 2 sets of 8 reps on each side. Exercise number 3 is a wall slide. This targets big 5 area 2 and 3, thoracic spine and shoulder blade mechanics. This exercise specifically trains the movement pattern your shoulder needs for overhead function. For this exercise, we're teaching the shoulder blade to move up and around to improve mechanics. Stand facing a wall with one foot in front of the other for stability. Place your hands on the wall at shoulder height, elbows slightly off. Next, you're going to slowly slide your arms upward, leaning your chest forward at the top and returning to the starting position. You should feel your shoulder blades moving up and around when getting into these positions. Complete 15 reps of the wall slides. Exercise 4 is an extension rock. This targets big 5 areas 2 and 4, thoracic spine and shoulder joint mechanics. This exercise addresses both of them simultaneously. With your hands under your hips and your knees bent, lift your butt off the ground and rock back and forth. This move is fantastic by opening up your shoulder into extension and mobilizing it through that range. You should feel movement through your upper back and shoulders as you rock back and forth. This is creating the mobility patterns your shoulder needs for optimal function. Complete 2 sets of 8. And exercise number 5, shoulder taps. This is the ultimate integration exercise that trains all big 5 areas to work together while specifically strengthening the posterior chain that supports your shoulder. Get into a push-up position. You can space your feet further apart for more support. Alternate touching hands to opposite shoulder, avoiding rocking or having your hips rotate. Hold tension throughout the exercise. This exercise integrates proper neck positioning, thoracic extension, shoulder blade stability, and shoulder joint positioning all at once. It trains your entire system to work together to support your shoulder. Complete 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps each side. You can also do this on a counter or bench to make it easier, as well as bending your knees. These 5 exercises address the root causes of shoulder impingement in the big 5 system. Instead of just focusing on your shoulder damage, you're fixing the movement patterns that cause the impingement in the first place. Shoulder problems are a movement problem and need a movement solution. And here's why this approach works when everything else fails. Instead of just focusing on shoulder damage that you can't change, we systematically address the movement patterns that you can. Remember that roundabout analogy? When you fix the traffic flow problem, the big 5 areas that affect shoulder function, you eliminate the traffic jam at the front of the shoulder. The impingement symptoms improve because the root cause has been addressed. And this is why people with significant impingement on MRI findings can still get pain-free and back to all their activities, because we're addressing all these other areas along with the shoulder. By making movement patterns optimal, the shoulder joint isn't being overloaded. The impingement damage is there, but it's not causing problems because the movement is distributed properly across all areas. The truth is, if you've been told that your shoulder impingement is due to structural damage and there's nothing you can do about it, you've been lied to. Impingement damage is a symptom, not the cause. The 5 exercises you just learned give you a starting point for addressing the real causes of shoulder impingement, but true impingement resolution requires a comprehensive approach that addresses your specific movement limitations in the big 5 system. If you're tired of dealing with this front shoulder pain and you've been told that it's a structural issue and there's nothing that you can do, and you've done things such as physical therapy, injections, or even surgery, then text me the word pain to 720-710-4371 to get a tailored step-by-step approach on how to permanently fix your shoulder pain. Our mission at Comeback Performance is to help over 1 million people around the world eliminate their shoulder pain, avoid unnecessary imaging, injections, and surgeries, and get their lives back. After you reach out, please like and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out daily content based on your guys' questions on shoulder-related topics regarding pain and rehab. At Comeback Performance, the comeback is always stronger than the setback.